Saving $10,000 is a goal for a lot of people, and it's one of those key milestones that really starts to feel like a lot of money, but it's not easy, especially in today's day and age where inflation is rising, practically everything is getting more expensive, but at the same time, you can buy almost anything with just one tap. And you can really see this when you look at the data, which shows that 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and 1 in 4 Americans don't have any emergency savings at all. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the 5 simple steps to saving $10,000, how I did it, how other people did it, and all of the tips and tricks that you need to get there the fastest way possible. And I actually used these 5 steps to save my first $10,000 while I was in college, which led me to buying my first rental property that same year. So let's get started with step 1, breaking down the goal. Saving $10,000 seems like an almost impossible task. Like, where are you going to find an extra 10K laying around? But when you break it down, $10,000 a year is $833 a month, which is $384 a paycheck, or $27.40 a day. You can probably already see that $10,000 looks so much more attainable when you just break it down into small chunks. Now, if your goal is to really save $10,000 in the next 12 months, you need to do 2 things. Number 1, take action. You'll never have more motivation than right now. Literally after this video, your motivation will be at an all-time high, and it will slowly decrease if you continue not to take action. When you're excited about something, you need to start immediately. Don't even wait a single day, because inevitably something's gonna come up, you're gonna continue to push it off, and you might never get started. But that's not gonna be you. And in order to help you, you need to write down your goal. I know it seems silly, but writing down your goal makes it 42% more likely to happen. Now, in all fairness, I don't know how they actually measured that statistic and got to that 42% number, but it doesn't matter. You should be using anything and everything to stack the deck in your favor to make it more likely for you to achieve your goal. Okay, once you've done that, it's time to move on to step 2, creating a budget. If your goal is to save $833 a month, you need to see where your money's going and how much surplus money you actually have. Some people like to call this your discretionary spending, and you can just think about it as the money that you bring in or your income minus all of your mandatory expenses. Think food, housing, insurance, debt payments, pretty much anything that you need to survive. Just by simply creating a budget, you'll be able to see where your money's going and what you can cut back on to start putting money away. Now that you have a budget, it's time to move on to step 3. Collecting free money and stopping losing money. Let's start with free money. There's actually a lot of free money out there. And I'm not just talking about scholarships for students, but side note, my girlfriend did just graduate college and she had her entire tuition paid for from one scholarship. The crazy part is she didn't even know about it. Randomly, one day she was having a conversation with a friend who mentioned that, hey, if you are studying to be a teacher and have worked at a daycare, you could potentially qualify. She applied, got the scholarship, and if she never would have had that one conversation, she would not have got her tuition fully paid for. So if you are a student, definitely do not underestimate scholarships and look what's out there for your school. But for everyone else who's not in school, how much unclaimed money do you think is out there? Probably not much, right? Because if you were owed money, you definitely claim it. So how much do you think's out there? A few $100, a few $1,000? There's $70 billion of unclaimed money, and 1 in 7 people are owed. You can go to sites like missingmoney.com or unclaimed.org, or literally just search unclaimed property and your state. All you're gonna need to do is put in your name and your state and see if there's any money waiting to be claimed. Okay, I hear you. What if you don't have any money sitting there? Then the other place you need to look is your 401k. See, your 401k is a special type of account. It's a tax advantaged account, meaning whether it's a Roth or traditional, you're gonna get a tax savings today or in the future. And although that basically is free money, that's not even what I'm talking about. Odds are if you have a 401k, you might have an employer match, meaning they're gonna match a certain percentage of your salary. So for easy number's sake, let's say your employer match is 4% and your salary is $100,000. You would contribute $4,000 towards your 401k, and your employer would also contribute $4,000 towards your 401k, and it's literally free money. Now, not all employers are going to have the same match limit or percentage, so definitely talk to your HR department, but again, it's free money. Okay, so now that we've got our free money, how do we stop losing money? Well, as the saying goes, saving money is making money. And actually, saving money is worth more than making money, because when you earn $1, you're gonna get taxed at 20 to 30%. But when you save $1, you keep the entire dollar. But anyways, how do you stop losing money? The easiest place to start is to cut out your credit cards. And no, I'm not going full Dave Ramsey on you.
stupid.
But it's been reported that the average American household now has $7,951 of credit card debt, and with the average credit card interest rate being 24.71%, that means that you'd be paying $160 in interest a month alone. And it doesn't stop there. If you're also paying overdraft fees, with the average charge being $35, you're nearly paying $200, which is just vanishing from your account, which you could easily take back. If you start budgeting, you'll be aware of your money and where it's going, so you can miss out on this downhill spiral of paying credit card interest, paying overdraft fees, and maybe even payday loans. I have one family member who does absolutely no budgeting, and because of that, they have to cash their check every Friday at one of those check cashing places that charge you a fee, just because they don't budget their money and they need their money instantly. Don't let this be you, and let's move on to step 4, reverse budgeting. This is one of my favorite concepts, and I think to fully understand it, you first need to know about lifestyle creep or lifestyle inflation. It's a simple concept that basically says as your income increases, so does your expenses. And if you've been working for a few years, you might not have noticed it, but ask yourself, are you making more money today than you were making 5 or 10 years ago? And if so, where did the money go? If it's not saved and invested, then you've fallen victim to lifestyle inflation. So how do you avoid this? With reverse budgeting. Instead of paying everybody else first and worrying about savings later, pay yourself first. Take your savings out of your paycheck, and whatever money is left over is what you use to pay your bills and live your life. You can make this even easier with automatic withdrawals to your 401k, meaning before you even see your paycheck, a portion of it has already been sent to your 401k, or you can set up automatic transfers every time you get paid from your checking account to your savings account. Now, I know not everybody's going to be able to do this, and some people just don't have extra money. And if that's the case, it's time to move on to step 5, earning more so you can save more. The truth is, if you want to get to 10K the fastest way possible, earning more income is what you need to do, especially if you can't save your way there. Now, there's tons of different ways to make money. You could pet sit, you could clean houses, you could drive for Uber, you could mow lawns, but there's a few ways you could be even more creative. The biggest expense for most Americans is housing, and you can eliminate this almost completely with house hacking. Now, I'm not talking about hacking your way into a house like this woman did, who squatted there for 575 days of free stay. House hacking is a concept where you rent out a spare room, or you purchase a property that has multiple units and you rent out one of the units. This could be as simple as buying a duplex, renting out one side and using the rental income to offset your mortgage, or just renting out a spare bedroom on Airbnb. But if house hacking isn't your thing, then start a side hustle that you actually have an edge in. I know when most people think about starting a side hustle, they either think about driving Uber or delivering DoorDash, which aren't bad options. But if you're young and maybe don't have access to a car, don't give up. You have your own advantages. Maybe you understand social media more than some 40 or 50-year-old, so you're able to take advantage of the TikTok creativity program, or you know a lot about video editing, so you create an editing agency. This is exactly what I did. I started an editing agency and was able to make $10,000 in a single month from something that started as a side hustle. Now, obviously, you don't have to take it that far, but my point is that you always have an advantage in some space. I was able to start an editing agency because I consumed a ton of content, and I also edited my own videos. Maybe you love to draw, and with a few Photoshop YouTube tutorials, you could start selling your services as a YouTube thumbnail artist on Fiverr and Upwork. Whatever the case, think about what you actually enjoy to do and how you could potentially monetize those skills. Now that you know what to do, let's look at an actual example. Your goal is to save $833 a month, which is $27.40 a day. Let's say you create a budget and find $150 or $5 a day that you can put towards your savings. Then, because you now know where your money's going, you're not going to pay any credit card interest or overdraft fees, which saves you an additional $222 a month or $7.40 a day. You're on a roll, so you start cutting back on a few subscriptions, which saves you $30 a month or $1 a day. You then finally start that side hustle, which earns you $300 a month or $10 a day. And you start eating out less, maybe make coffee at home, which saves you $90 a month or $3 a day. And you put all of your money into a high yield savings account, earning you 4 to 5% interest, which means you're able to earn and save $30 a month or $1 a day. Even with just these small changes, you're on your way to saving $10,000. And hopefully with some consistency, you'll be there in no time. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, drop me a like, put your savings goal in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.